Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Weekend SportsWrap. That's Danny's Weekend SportsWrap, and it's Danny's Weekend SportsWrap because I'm Danny Clinkscale, here at DannyClinkscale.com and the Reasonably Irreverent podcast. And this time around on a Monday, we got the power of the NFL again showing its teeth. We talk about it in many, many different ways. Crummy regular season games on a Thursday night, drawing as many people as a World Series game, and on, but nothing shows it like the incredible interest in preseason football, maybe in particular the first preseason game, even though the third one's the most significant one as far as playing time is concerned. The first one is anticipated, and then after that everybody's kind of just waiting for the regular season to go. And we saw that last night on the Saturday night with the Chiefs as they played their game 10 minutes in. A lot of guys who aren't going to play NFL football this year were playing. The significance of it can be batted around. We'll do that. But there's no doubt that with a real baseball games being played in Detroit, a real MLS game being played at Children's Mercy Park, that sports is entertainment. What did people care about in the Kansas City sports scene the most? Chiefs preseason football. The fans were excited. Does it mean anything? No. Do the arguments come about who should play and who should not play? Yes. But anyway, that's what we'll talk about because that's what people want to talk about, because the Chiefs are the deal. The Chiefs are the favorites for the Super Bowl. Kansas City Royals continue to play. We'll knock that around a little bit as well. And Sporting Kansas City, bad tidings at Children's Mercy Park. We'll get into that. And also, nice weekend for me. While many people may not care about this in any way, shape, or form, the Premier League was back and playing on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and sometimes Fridays and sometimes Mondays. But for me, the most significant and most enjoyable is the fact that they play on Saturday and Sunday morning. It's when I work out. It makes for a great workout distraction down in my basement, and I have gotten to the point where I like the Premier League like many people like the National Football League. I am an Arsenal fan, but I watch all the games and all the teams and enjoy doing so, and so that started up this week, and maybe that provides kind of bad timing for what Sporting's doing as well, as people's attention goes to the soccer across the pond in England. All those things on the table, coming up next on the Weekend Sports Wrap. Looking for a truly unique escape from your normal entertainment or corporate team-building regimen? Stay tuned for an exclusive offer only for Reasonably Irreverent listeners. I'm excited to tell you about an extraordinary destination, the Exit Room, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Lee Summit. The Exit Room is a distinctive entertainment option that offers a cool alternative to the normal couples night out, family get-togethers, and corporate team-building events. The Exit Room is a one-of-a-kind boutique escape room catering to special occasions and corporate team-building events and is unmatched in the Kansas City metro. With 5 individually designed and varied escape room adventures, your party or employees can unplug from their electronic world, interact with one another, match wits, and ultimately escape the humdrum of the ordinary. The Exit Room adventures cross decades and centuries and create fascinating fun. I know the owners well. They are local folks, their staff is warm and friendly, their lobby is inviting and beautiful, and their adventures are award-winning. Check online. There are over 1,000 reviews, and note that they are a rare 5-star ranked business. Visit their website and Facebook page, and any of my listeners who books online at theexitroomkc.com using the promo code Clinkscale19 gets 10% off any ticket purchase. The Exit Room in Lee Summit. Unplug, interact, and escape.
Before you spend your time and money going after an MBA, ask yourself why. Is it so you can tell people you got your MBA? So you can add a line to your CV? So you can call it a CV instead of a resume? Truth is, any MBA will do that. On the other hand, if your goal is to learn how to successfully manage and grow a business with real-world insights from experienced professionals, well, consider getting your MBA from Park University. Our low student-to-teacher ratio gives you personalized attention, and our face-to-face and online classes offered in 8-week terms are designed with working professionals like you in mind. No wonder the Kansas City Business Journal ranks Park University as the top MBA program in the area. Classes begin June 10th at all 4 KC area locations: Parkville, Downtown, Independence, and Lenexa. Visit park.edu to get started.
Sumner One is the company to make your office maximize efficiency. Their family of companies make up one of the largest independent dealers of office technology in the Midwest. They are proud to bring the best service and technology to top companies across the region. Sumner One can help your organization run more smoothly than ever. Sumner One printers, copiers, MFPs, managed print services, document management, infrastructure design, IT services, disaster recovery, and business continuity. Welcome to the one place where everything works. For more information, call Carl Little at 913-752-2256. Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Wrap, and maybe the biggest talking point heading into the Chiefs preseason opener as they matched up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are expected to be not a very good football team this year, is whether Patrick Mahomes should play or not. Many top-line quarterbacks do not play in their preseason opener. Mahomes did. He didn't play a lot, but he gave exactly what the fans would have wanted, and the fans came out to see. You watch the broadcast, you watch the telecast of the game. Virtually every commercial that was shown featured Patrick Mahomes in some way, shape, or form. So even when he wasn't on the field, and he was on the field for one drive, and it was a good drive, just what you would want for the offense, as they played just great, you get plenty of Patrick Mahomes. He was on the broadcast as well in an interview. So Mahomes is the man, Mahomes is the story, and Mahomes is the focus, and he's earned it. He is the reigning NFL MVP, and he did play, and he did play well, and that was certainly the upside of the evening, although I don't know if there could have been a downside. The only downside there could have been is if Patrick Mahomes got carted off the field. That basically could have been the only downside that was out there, but he did not. In fact, he was 4 for 4. His very first pass was a tremendous touch pass to Travis Kelce, who was well covered down the left side of the field. 36-yard gain, off and running they went, and they went down and scored a touchdown. Now, of course, they scored a touchdown, first of all, after Patrick Mahomes shunned going out of bounds down near the end zone, then decided to cut back and maybe try to score a touchdown, then came to his senses and slid shy of the end zone. If it was a playoff game, I think he probably would have scored. He probably would have taken a big hit, and he probably would have had a touchdown. At least he was wise enough to do that. Probably should have gone out of bounds in the first place, as everybody held their breath in the stadium, but he didn't. He was great, completed all his passes, and then off he went. Of course, the Chiefs did score right after Cincinnati scored. And the way NFL preseason games go, unless a quarterback who's trying to make a name for himself goes out there and wings 4 interceptions or something like that, it's really difficult to take anything from these games. Patrick Mahomes could have been god-awful in the game, and it wouldn't have mattered one bit, and certainly he was not. The defense is obviously the talking point for this team. They undeniably have more talent. One of their most talented players, in kind of a juxtaposition to what we were just talking about, Frank Clark, didn't play. Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones didn't play much, but Frank Clark is their highest paid and, okay, we'll say best defensive player. He didn't play in the game. No injury, no reason except just not to play, whereas Patrick Mahomes did play. Was it as a marketing thing? I don't know. Seren Petra and I argued about this on Friday on the Danny Unleashed segment on WHB, and I couldn't argue with the fact that he very strongly felt that Patrick Mahomes shouldn't play, but Frank Clark didn't play. So that it's kind of a very interesting juxtaposition. Frank Clark's more of a veteran. Maybe in years to come, Patrick Mahomes won't play in games like this. We'll have to wait and see. But if you wanted to take something bad out of the game, if you wanted to be a naysayer, here come the Bengals. They come out there and they just drove right down the field and scored. Were there a little bit of mitigating circumstances? Certainly. The Chiefs had a fumble recovery that was ruled to be an incomplete pass, which would have ended the drive and made everybody have bigger smiles on their face. Instead, it was called an incomplete pass, and Cincinnati rolled down the field, 14 plays, 75 yards. The first game after 13 plays and 75 yards for the New England Patriots in the playoff game. So that was a bad memory. Also pointed out very neatly in Vahe Gregorian's column in the Kansas City Star, a chilling bit of irony as well, as on that turnover play, which was ruled eventually not a turnover, it appeared that Tano Passanio had lined up offside on the play. The call was not made, but in the end, they did not get the turnover. They gave up the touchdown. And after that, it's all how much you want to care about running backs like Thompson having a good night, or a couple of guys on defense maybe stepping up, Breland Speaks getting a sack. These are individual things that if you really, really want to break them down and be into it, you can enjoy it. If you just care about football so much that there's guys running around with Chiefs helmets on who aren't going to play football this year, except in their backyards, and enjoy that, that's cool. The fans were into the game. I think they enjoyed it all the way through, and it was, in general, a good entertainment. I often talk on this particular podcast, in blogs, everything else, about what my care is for the fans. Talked about it this week in a blog about baseball's treatment of fans as far as weather delays are concerned. I think that's handled abysmally by baseball. But when you're talking about entertainment, if fans are entertained, then it's a good evening. So it was a good evening in Kansas City last night for Kansas City sports fans, because they were excited to go to a preseason game. In many years in the past, that would not have been the case. They just want to get on to the regular season, or maybe they're that excited about the regular season for that matter. But Patrick Mahomes put on a little show. The Chiefs had enough brighter moments that you could glean those. If you want to have an argument on a bar stool with your buddy about the defense, you could do that, because they certainly didn't look good against the first teamers. And it was kind of a typical first preseason game, but seemed to be enjoyed by the fans, and that's the most important thing. Not enjoyed by the fans over at Children's Mercy Park, as they packed the place again, was Sporting Kansas City's 5th home loss in their last 10. They lost it to a Real Salt Lake team that had only won 2 road games all season long. It's a Real Salt Lake team that's one of the teams that Sporting is trying to flag down. And now with just about 10 games left in the season, Sporting really is pretty much in a situation, after losing 2-1 in this game, that they will have to average about 2 points a game the rest of the way, a pace that no one in the league has done so far this year. And that's going to be very, very tough duty. And Sporting has 3 games in the next 10 days, and we pretty much will likely know their fate by then. This was such a typical Sporting game when things are not going particularly well. They had numerous scoring opportunities in the first half. They led 1-0. Peter Vermees said they should have had 3 or 4. It's a lament that we've heard far too many times as far as Sporting Kansas City is concerned. They end up getting tied towards the end of the first half. Second half was a competitive half. They did not dominate the first half. This looked very much like their previous home game, as a matter of fact. And dominating early part of the game for Sporting, didn't quite take advantage of it as much as they should have, and then they lose on a bad goal. And the bad goal has certainly been a big hallmark of Sporting Kansas City this year. They allowed the player to get completely loose for a relatively easy goal in the 70th minute, had no recourse the rest of the way, and fell 2-1. It's just been that type of season for Sporting Kansas City. For a long time, you could blame the health of the team for being an important aspect of it. Now they're getting all of their players back. They're getting healthy, and it just seems like they can't get out of their own way. When they show flashes and have a really good game, they don't back it up with another good game. And as I mentioned, you can play pretty good defense most of the time and have most of the possession and do all the right things. But then if you make one grievous defensive error, which they seem to have done numerous times this year, it's a goal, and goals are too important in soccer to just give one away. It's not like you're going to have 10 or 12 runs scored as in a baseball game, or 6 or 7 touchdowns scored on both sides as in an NFL football game, or maybe in the Chiefs' case, one side and maybe the other scoring touchdowns. But 2-1 is actually a relatively high-scoring game, and that's only 2. And stingy defense has been too much a part of Sporting Kansas City's MO to have that in particular happening. And so a really grim night on Saturday night at Children's Mercy Park, because that was a home game that was badly needed, and now Sporting Kansas City is going to have to really push the pedal to the floor in order to make the playoffs, even as easy as the playoffs are to make in MLS, with 7 of the 12 teams in each conference, each division, making it to the playoffs. And now Sporting's going to have to do something semi-miraculous in order to make the playoffs. I mentioned it before, this weekend, in keeping with soccer, was a good weekend for me because I got some entertainment back. and that was in the form of the Premier League. And if you're not a soccer fan, then you don't care. If you are a soccer fan, maybe you're just a sporting fan.